Hello, Kai Aliens, and welcome to the last episode for Season 2 and for the year. Obviously, we're going to be looking at Kyle Gaming Racing Team in their second season in the F1 Championships, see how they do in both the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. Now, I was meant to be doing Season 2, and it was meant to be like actually Season 2 in the game, but because I went from my PS4 to my PS5, I had to restart everything again. It didn't carry over all my data, which was so annoying. So while this isn't probably where the car should be, it is where it's at. So I'm not making any excuses, but it's just I would have rather have been a bit faster than I am now. But you know what? We'll see how this all goes from here. This is the first 5 races of the season. So races 1 to 5 will be in this video. There is going to be another video playlist set up on my YouTube channel where it's going to have races, 6 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and then the last 2 races, kind of like my last season that I did this with. I hope you get there and have a look at it. They'll all be up by the time you finish watching this video. I know at 24 minutes it's long, but I did do this all a little bit differently than I did last time. So I really do hope you enjoy how this happens. As you can see, that's what my livery looks like now. I liked it, and I'm hoping that next season I can get you guys to choose what it'll look like. All right, let's get into races 1 to 5.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Kyle lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. That's it then, it's time to go racing.
Oh mate, great job. You've done everything we wanted today. That is brilliant.
Smiling faces on the pit wall then after that superb win here at Sakhir. And rightly so, a brilliant effort from the whole team. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Kyle. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern-day Formula One.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The owner-drivers team moved to the top of the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one. So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world, Jeddah. One of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, and one of the biggest ports in the region. And now, host to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Kyle lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Kyle increases their championship lead. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, there was a lot of incredible driving out there today, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon. It's race day here in Melbourne as we continue with what could shape up to be one of the best Australian Grand Prix ever. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Perez, Carlos Sainz, and Hamilton. Fernando Alonso, Kyle. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Prix at home.
So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Well, that lead at the top has somewhat shrunk today. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to say, Sebastian Vettel certainly caught my eye during the race today. Incredible driving.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings and Red Bull take over as championship leaders. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One. So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Leclerc, Kyle, Norris. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. So let's review the updated driver standings. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today, as they make their way up the standings. Well, that wraps up the sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. The clue's in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsports. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. With the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Perez, Charles Leclerc, and Norris, Fernando Alonso, Vettel, Joe, and Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Alex Albon, and Hamilton. They've taken a grid penalty. Bottas, Stroll, Yuri Vips, and Pierre Gasly, Kyle, Ocon, Tsunoda, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
pick up rubber and bring it home.
Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. Today's performance means that Max Verstappen now owns top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Well, for me, it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't argue that he's a driver deserving of his reputation.
Let's move on to the constructors. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon. Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the National Football League outfit, the Miami Dolphins. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Kyle lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
The team and everybody back at the factory. We did it. Yes, fantastic! You just won the Grand Prix.
You can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win? So let's review the updated driver standings. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Carlos Sainz certainly wasn't someone to scoff about. His ability to follow race strategies throughout with pinpoint precision has to be commended.
Let's move on to the constructors. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So not exactly where I wanted to be. And to be fair, I could have been sitting on top of the ladder, but considering I'm only 2 points behind the leader, I can't really complain. Race 3 in Australia, where I came 5th, was good, I guess. I'm still not happy with it. I hate to lose at home, but sometimes these things happen. And the race straight after it, where I was 19th on the grid in the lineup, and then come through to come 16th, no points. That's what's hurt me here. What can you do though? You know what I mean? Like, we just got to continue to develop this car. So checking out the Constructors Championship now, I'm sitting 4th. Probably not going to get much higher than that because my teammate Yuri Yips is just not going to be anything. I have to build him up first as we go on through the season. So hopefully by next season, we might be able to push for that Constructors Championship. All right, guys. So that was races 1 to 5. Races 6 to 10 will be found on YouTube and in that playlist that I mentioned earlier, and it'll go all the way through to all the races. So that should be up by the end of this video. Now, on to my housekeeping matters. My @ on Instagram is @KY____EL. Where this arrow is where to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So click on that and hit subscribe. This is my website. Go and check that out. I posted stuff that I think is cool, that interests me, and my ideas and opinions on TV shows and just general way of the movie industry and stuff like that. Go and have a read. They're not a long read, so that's good. That is it for the year, guys. That's everything done and dusted for season 2. I hope you all have a great Christmas. I'm going to start looking at what we're going to be doing next year, and we will be back with season 3, and there will be a few little changes if everything goes to plan that I hope you guys will like. All right, have a great Christmas, guys, and a safe new year, and I will talk at you later.
PlayStation